folks. I'm on with the famous, notorious, I guess I should say, 107, and he has a message for the world that I hope everybody will pay attention to. We have within this nation, the United States of America, the freest nation in the world, what I call political hostages. We have the people that are in prison from January the 6th, and we have somebody that is near and dear to Juan's heart, which is Tina Peters, and he wants to talk about that, and he wants to use a clip from a movie, The Jekyll, in order to basically bring home what Donald Trump needs to do.
You see, Declan, before you die, you tell him that he can't protect his women.
So I'm going to turn it over to him. No holds barred, Juan. You just rip. Just go for it.
Well, the problem is President Trump has said several times, let Tina go, get Tina out, get her out now, to the people around him, to the people over at Justice, to the governor of Colorado, to the judicial system. President Trump has said she's a political prisoner. She is. There's no question about that. They've turned the law on its ear. The judge in the sentencing phase of the trial threw the book at her to outer space on something that technically, if you get right down to it, isn't even a crime.
Juan, let me interject, just in case we have somebody who's utterly asleep. Give us 60 seconds on who she is and what the issue is, so that we don't lose anybody who might just be, as you said, asleep, and then go into the details of what you want to see happen, please.
Tina was the county clerk in Mesa County, peripheral county in Colorado to the western side. Very vast, open, very dispersed population. She'd been an airline stewardess, had worked doing real estate stuff for a number of years. And the lines at the county clerk's office to get a driver's license were out of this world. People have to drive across the county hours and hours. Then they get there and they're at the county clerk's office for 4 hours just to get a renewed driver's license. It was insane. And she said, this is stupid. We can fix this. It's not that complex. So she ran for the county clerk's position. And then when she won, within months, she had the lines down to 15 minutes, opened another driver's license office on the other side of the county. They said it couldn't be done, too expensive. She cut costs. She didn't raise them. Negotiated a deal for a cheaper location and got it done. She figured it out and she got it done. And people really were happy about that. They got 2 elections. There were some wonky things happened, but she believed that she had the gold standard in election systems with the machines and everything else. You couldn't fraud them. You couldn't confuse anything. And so she was of that mindset. Some people got to her and tried to explain to her what was going on. The more she looked at it, the more she's like, oh, well, they didn't tell me that when I went to the Secretary of State's training offices and classes. They didn't tell me that when the Dominion people explained this stuff. I had no idea. And she got more and more concerned. She asked for assistance after the 2020 election because Dominion was going to come in and do what they called a trusted build. Well, anytime somebody from the government tells you, just trust me, anybody that's representing somebody over the government says, just trust me, that's like the first warning sign. Reagan said, trust but verify. Okay. Yes. We trust you, but let's verify also. Okay. Just to keep everybody honest. And we wouldn't do a missile deal with the Russians without the ability to also verify what they tell us they're going to do. Tina asked within the system to the Secretary of State's office for assistance because she was concerned, shouldn't we be backing up what's in the voting machines before we let them touch it in case they make a mistake? We're under federal rules and state rules to preserve the vote data, the vote history for a couple of years. So that's not a mystery. So why don't we back it up? Can you help me? Give me somebody, point me in the right direction. Who can I hire to back it up? And got crickets. In fact, she was told, just ignore it, stay away, don't touch it. The machine company knows what they're doing. She still didn't trust that. And so she decided to have somebody come in. She had the authority to do it, make a copy of her system before, and she made another copy after this trusted build. Over the last several years, because we had people who actually were involved in the flip of the vote in 2020, doing it from Serbia, foreign interference. We have those people who were helping us over the last several years, who we protected outside the country and have now brought into the United States. They're in protective custody of the United States government. And President Trump has had everybody critical now in important places briefed. Tulsi Gabbard 6 months ago told the president in a cabinet meeting, after her people and she herself were briefed for 4 days for her people and for half a day herself, on how the machines had been used to flip the vote in 2020. She said to the president, "It's just like you said, Mr. President. We're going to have to go to a paper ballot. We now have proof of a stolen election," referring to 2020. When she said that, she let us all know the president had already told his cabinet, we're going to have to go to a paper ballot. This is where we're going. Everybody, here's what we got to do. Gave them reasons to understand by hearing what these people had to say directly, asked the questions, do the interviews, and then this is why we're going to hand count paper ballot, counted where cast, no more mail-in votes, no machines at all involved in the election. He's about to do an executive order to that effect, and he told the country that 3 weeks ago. He's got the legal people looking at some of the details and verifying it. And in fact, the executive order proposal that I believe is at the core of what, and we've been told is at the core of what he's going to implement as an executive order, came out of the unauthorized coalition that I run. And so beautiful, important, amazing work by amazing people to put this together. All the reasons why it has to be done the way it's done. I don't know any other group in or out of government that was really actually capable of doing what these people did precisely and making it make sense. With that in mind, the president's about to issue an emergency, national emergency, implement that, and in the context of a national emergency, issue an executive order concerning the coming elections in 2026, hand count paper ballot counted where cast, precincts of 1,500 or less, start over on the voter rolls, all the existing voter rolls put to the side. You're gonna have to re-register to vote. The voter rolls cannot be cleaned up and trusted in time. It's gonna be huge. No mail-in ballot. Places like where I'm at here in Hawaii, where they have 19,000 votes. 19,000 votes just in Hawaii County, a small county, by the way, that are purportedly mail-in votes. Only problem? No envelopes. They didn't go through the mail system. The mail system doesn't have a record of it. They weren't mail-in. Somebody injected them to flip the vote. You have people in office spending money, doing things, ordering things that wasn't the will of the people. Why do you think all these counties in Hawaii are blue? They're not. It's red. It's fraud that makes them blue. And Hawaii is actually a conservative state, not a liberal state. It's just through vote fraud that they're a liberal state. Okay, bull fucking shit. Pissed me off. Okay, so now we come back to Tina Peters.
Okay, good.
Tina, as the county clerk, went against the Secretary of State, the governor, all these different people challenging how the vote was being conducted in her county, let alone the rest of the state, let alone the rest of the country. She spoke about it at Lindell's symposium early on and what she had done and the concerns. And by the way, her work, the before and after, became the Rosetta Stone for comparative purposes of much of the material that we got from these people who told us that they frauded the vote out of Syria or out of Serbia.
Venezuela.
And to prove a lot of that stuff, we're about to have arrests, and we will have trials that last years concerning the election fraud of 2020. 2020 isn't over yet. Okay. On the way to that, Tina Peters, unfortunately, through weaponization of government to make her feel the pain and to scare anybody else off that would even challenge how elections are run. Colorado, which is the home state of Dominion, where they have their national headquarters, which, by the way, Colorado, where they wanted to take President Trump off the 2020 ballot, said he couldn't run. And all the judges, all the courts, all the prosecutors, everybody was in agreement, all the officials. Yeah, Trump can't run in 2020 on the Colorado ballot. And there was 11 more states signed up to do the exact same thing. And it went through the entire state court system. And they said, yep, we can take Trump off the ballot. You're absolutely authorized to do that. Got to do it because he's a felon, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't until it got to the U.S. Supreme Court and they overturned that. By the way, based on, there was lots of amicus briefs plus the president's own legal team. Not one thing the president's own legal team presented as a reason why they couldn't take him off the ballot in Colorado was mentioned in the Supreme Court's decision. 5 things that were in the brief presented by Trennis Evans, all 5 of them became part of that decision by the Supreme Court. He got 5 right, okay? The 5 things that the court decided the case on. Other people had 1 or 2 in the amicus briefs. His own legal team didn't even get 1. So there's plenty of room to question legal decisions, especially in Colorado. But in Colorado, the judge gave all sorts of wonky jury instructions, all sorts of things. Even after Tina was convicted by the jury and came to sentencing, the judge went way out of his way to do the absolute maximum he could possibly do. Throw her in jail for 9 years, extra 6 months for, being extra scary and lethal and mean. Tina Peters, by the way, has never had a moving violation in a vehicle. Can you imagine? I can't even, it's like unobtainium.
She's in her 70s, right? So 9 years is almost.
She just turned 70. It is a death sentence. But more important, she's a cancer survivor. She had lung cancer. She was a stewardess back in the early days. They still smoked in airplanes. She was a stewardess. She lost a third of her lungs. She was, on the rebound and had it in remission. She was very careful on her diet. She was careful in the way she, cared for herself. She stayed here with Jen and I for several weeks over in Hawaii. And, I saw firsthand all of the precautions she took, the things she was proactive about to make sure she kept her cancer in remission, in check. In all the stress, remember, she was in the courts continuously from the summer of 2021. And all the way through the trial, the on and off again stuff, now been in prison for over a year and a half. The stress is out of this world for somebody who's a cancer survivor, let alone the food. They serve a mystery meat in there. Before we're done, we have to have prison reform. And one of the crucial things is, what are they feeding these people? No wonder they come out twisted and baked, okay? Whatever was happening going in, they come out and they're, 10 times worse. And, the bread, no nutrients in it, white paste bread, something. No fresh fruit, no fresh vegetables, everything boiled to death, nothing's left. In that environment, whatever's going on in her body, she doesn't have the nutrients to fight. It becomes torture. We actually have audio recordings of the people that she had to sleep in and around, telling her how they're going to rearrange her face permanently, that she shouldn't expect to wake up when she goes to sleep. She can only stay awake so long because they're going to kill her. These aren't idle threats. She's getting threats in the mail delivered to her from non-existent zip codes, 8647 zip code. And the mail system processes it through, so she gets to open it up and see threats to her life. This is torture, not and they're going to kill her. What you're watching is a slow motion assassination. The bullet's just moving along an inch at a time. You're watching, everybody's shocked at the suddenness, the unexpectedness of Charlie Kirk and that incident, whatever it actually was. But here you're watching it slow motion. It's an assassination, a sliver at a time, a moment at a time, and it's all being watched. And when she finally gets out, because she's coughing up her lungs right now, when she
Hmm.
finally gets, oh, well, we weren't sure initially if it was bad ventilation, dust in the ventilation. We get dust in the system here. Sometimes it gets helped by somebody, but we get a lot of dust in the ventilation here. The bedding, I don't know. Maybe somebody put something in the bedding that we didn't know was going in your bedding. Okay. Whatever it is. And Tina's coughing. She can't sleep. She can't sleep because of the coughing. She can't sleep because of the threat. She can't close her eyes for a second. The ongoing, continuous murderous stress. And then in looking at all that, how's President Trump look? He says, get her out. Get her out now. She's a political prisoner. Let her go. Tells the governor, tells the Justice Department. We had Tina of an understanding we were going to have her out by her birthday or on her birthday. Everybody was all excited. Her attorneys, the legal people had done all the work and it was in play. It was all done. Come her birthday, she's still not out. She's ready, got the bags packed. She's going to finally get free again into some kind of federal protection where she's not looking over her shoulder 24/7. Birthday came and went. We're working on it. We'll get it done. It might be an extra day or two, but we're going to get it done. The weekend comes, the weekend goes. The next week comes and goes. Well, okay, you know what? We have this habeas corpus. It's before the judge, and the reality is, let's let the system work. The judge is going to hear it within just a day or two, a week at the most. The judge can make a decision. You can be out. We have all the reason in this habeas corpus hearing where the judge should go ahead and lay out. We're pretty comfortable that's going to happen. So let's let the system work. 3 weeks ago.
Hmm.
Coming into the fourth week. It won't take more than a week. Well, it's 3 weeks ago. Nothing's happened. The judge, normally these decisions only take at the most a week. 3 weeks. Going into the fourth week. What's the problem? Why can't we get this solved? Okay. The president looks emasculated. Looks like he can't get anything done. He says, do this, do that. How do the rest of us, how are we supposed to feel when the president's statements, the game face, the stern look, the growl, nothing happens? It just doesn't happen. I was thinking about this as I was doing some of the shows that I did yesterday and the day before. It kept coming back to me, the movie Day of the Jackal, the remake with Bruce Willis.
Mhm.
And this hinge scene on which the whole movie actually plays. Because the jackal in this version isn't going for the president. He's going for the first lady. He's going to kill the first lady to get a swipe at the president, to get a swipe at the country. They were all looking the wrong way, like any good magician. You bait him in, you make him think it's this, and then you do a slight change of hands, a little sneak trick, and get them all. Okay? He's going to hit the first lady. And then he says to this woman who's tracking him, a detective, along with other detectives, they're in a huge gunfight. The other guys get killed, and she's still alive, but she has a lethal wound to the liver. And he looks at it, the wound, looks at her, and he says, gosh, that's a really bad one. Looks to me like you're going to die. You might be able to make it 20 minutes if you just put pressure right here. But if the pain gets too great, just take your hand off as he puts her hand over her liver and holding the blood in. If you do survive long enough before the pain overcomes, you let go or you succumb to the bleeding. When the other detective, whose name is Declan, gets here, just remind him of this. Tell him this. You can't protect your women. Now, the idea is that it's only her. But the reality is, no, when he finally kills the first lady, then he'll get what the real mission was. But up till then, he's too dense. Everybody's too dense. They're looking for him to kill the president. They're protecting the president to outer space. He's gonna get the first lady and have an even greater effect, a greater leveraged effect on the psyche of the people, on the president himself. See, in this case that we're in right now, that's really what this is all about. You can't protect your women. If you can't protect Tina Peters, you can't protect the rest of us. And remember this, in the course of all of this, right now, because I've made a huge outcry, I've got people calling the governor's office. There's people looking at the judicial side. The Tina Peters attorney, Peter Tickton, the lead attorney, to move in the case and take the lead position with the other attorneys. He's filed motions to get her out on medical stuff, on humanitarian reasons, and to stop the threats to the mail and track whoever that person is down by whatever means possible. He's got all sorts of things in play, but he doesn't tell the court what to do. He files petitions to the court to take certain actions the right way. He's the one that went in there and argued stuff in the habeas corpus. The judge hasn't answered, coming into week 4. The Justice Department, they're all pointing at each other. Well, it's Todd Blanche. No, it's Pam Bundy. No, it's this person over in the IG's office inside of Department of Justice. It's the system. Well, we just have to let it work. We have to think about it. It's too soon we need to let the system do its thing. Okay. In the meantime, Tina Peters is lying on the altar of bureaucracy. They're going to sacrifice her. All of them will have their hand in this by observing, by watching, in their black robes, the judiciary, the attorneys, the Justice Department, everybody, the governors. They're all there to witness this. And after the fact, everybody's going to have a song about Tina Peters and how brave and valiant she was. We'll have a stadium somewhere down the road where we'll all be present. Kumbaya moment. I remember Tina. She was so brave. She was so wonderful. Okay, waving your cell phones with the lights on. Graveside service. Bullshit. Forget the fucking bullshit. Kill the fucking bull. Stop the pain. Stop the torture. Stop it completely right now. And don't let some dumbass, stupid, pissant judge get the one to be the son. Oh, yeah, I heard the outcry of the people. And yeah, you're right. We should let Tina go a year and a half later. And maybe she'll make it. Maybe she'll get a prayer and the cancer won't have gotten her in the next few months because it's now going full blown. We don't know. But I'm going to act. I'll be the judge. Makes President Trump look impotent. He needs to get on the phone right now, my opinion. And we all love you, Mr. President. Pick up the phone, take 15 minutes out of an excruciatingly busy day, everything on the line. Ukraine, Venezuela, the financial stuff. There's 1,000 pressing things that the president has to do right now. Everybody's got to have his ear.
Mm-hmm.
Tina's son, Gold Star mother, Tina's son, Navy SEAL, aerial demonstration team, who died under very questionable circumstances, double shoot failure. Tina Peters doesn't have her son here to advocate for her. Who's going to step in the gap? Who's going to step in the gap physically, spiritually, in every way needed, every way possible? That's got to be us. We're all Remington. Mr. President, pick up the phone, call over to Justice. Pick up the phone, call down to Colorado. Pick up the phone, do whatever you got to do. Figure it out. Get everybody on the phone. It is a national emergency. Tina is iconic. She is not to be sacrificed on the altar of bureaucracy. Figure it out right now. Get her out of there today. Have the ambulances there ready to transport her immediately, get her out of the state of Colorado, get her to real medical treatment with people that care about her, give her a chance to have a say in what's done. Let her have a chance at surviving this. Whatever's happening, whether the cancer is full blown again now or it's just a cold. As a cancer survivor, first of all, she shouldn't be in there in the first place. Everybody knows it. You do have pardon power. Go look at the Federalist publication today. You have pardon power right now in this case. Exercise it. Power is only good if you use it. If you have power and you don't use it, it wasn't of any value. You were voted into office by this people right here, the people that we're talking to right here, your mega people. Do not allow the enemy to make you look ineffectual for the least or the greatest. With all these tremendous things going on that have been done since President Trump came back into office, show that you can protect the least of us from this weaponization of government and begin the process and the pushback right here with Tina. Get her out now. Own it. Don't let the judge own it. Own it. Don't let somebody over at Justice Department have it. Own it. Don't let the attorneys have it. Own it yourself. Get it done. Just figure it out, please, Mr. President. That's my prayer.
Well, I want to add that Juan's been doing this on a lot of shows. Obviously, what he wants, he knows her personally. He had her at his home. He feels very strongly about this. And I want to tell you why you need to feel strongly. Because you cannot have a sovereign nation if you don't have election integrity. And this woman stood up for all Americans to see to it that we got that. Now we need to stand up for her. And so I ask you to take this video and share it with everybody you can. If you're the kind of person who will do this, reach out to your politicians. Just let the world know that we care about her, about our elections, about our government, about our society. And I have a second question for you here, Juan, before you.
Well, let me just add one thing.
Okay.
It'd take 15 minutes. People can dither, get them on the phone. Don't let them hang up till you figure it out. Get Pam Bondi on the phone, get Todd Blanche, get the Inspector General over there at the Justice Department on the phone. Get them all on the phone at the same time. Get whoever you need on the phone and figure it out. Whoever on your staff that can help. If somebody's blocking, if they don't understand, they have a different opinion, figure it out. Just figure it out. That's what President Trump is famous for. Cutting through the bureaucracy and getting to the right end, the right conclusion. Do it here. A life is on the line. And do it demonstratively for the benefit of all the base. Can you protect our women? Can you protect the innocent, the least amongst us? The Gold Star mom that's 70 years old, get in there and fight for her right now, not just with words, but by actions. Figure it out. Whatever the legal premise, I don't care what the heat is, get it done. You're a big guy. You hold the highest office in the world, get it done.
Look at what the Democrats do. They create an issue and then they come in and they say, well, the will of this people is spoken. We're going to do it. We're going to enact same-sex marriage, for example. So Trump, you need to basically mirror what the Democrats have done to us over and over again for the sake of your base, for the sake of this country, for the sake of the whole world. Take action and see to it that basically you show the world that we are going to take care of this woman and we're going to take care of our government.
Be demonstrative. Be demonstrative and own it.
Yes.
Whatever way you got to do it, make heads roll, kick people in the ass, kick people in the teeth who need to be kicked in the teeth and shut up. Get it done. Figure it out.
Well, before we go, I want to ask you one question. If there's anything you want to elaborate on, do you want to say anything about another important breaking story, which is what's happening in Venezuela that relates to indirectly what she's standing up for, which is election integrity. But then I want to come back to
what the president's about to do. what the president's about to do is going to have a national address. He's going to explain why we have to go into Venezuela and stop these people, which was where the origins were within the intelligence agencies, foreign governments, etc., to manipulate elections all over the world. 71 countries plus the United States. The people that orchestrated the 2020 election fraud did 19 in South Africa, tested their new system after they moved from Venezuela to Serbia, tested it on South Africa. That's how Ramaphosa got in office. We have a $50 million bounty on Maduro in Venezuela. He's referred this to Justice Department with Ramaphosa, South Africa, who did all of this nefarious stuff of I'm sorry, I've got calls coming in that screw us up. We have all sorts of stuff going on where the elections were frauded. The test location was South Africa, with Ramaphosa getting in through an election fraud, and all the horrors that have come about because of that South African government. President Trump is probably going to see the Justice Department put a $50 million bounty on President Ramaphosa. He's the one that was in the White House that President Trump pants in front of the whole world on the killings of the white farmers. Okay. So we're not done with that. Election fraud has occurred all over the world. The person that was elected president of South Korea was fraud in an election fraud in the midterms. And we know that. We've worked through that, and we're working through it still by the same people who frauded the 2020 election here in America. Tina Peters was instrumental in us understanding that as we had the people come forward that explained that they had been part of flipping this election 2020 electronically out of Serbia. Her material became the Rosetta Stone in many ways for comparative purposes. With that in mind, she will be available to us as a witness, as an expert, to explain what happened at the local level based on things that happened nationally and globally in other places. Tina needs to be preserved so she can be available to us with her testimony, and not some video after the fact in her last dying days, and we all remember her. We need her around. I want Tina here to savor and enjoy the victory that is coming. And it will be a Pyrrhic victory if we don't get to have her with us in the course of that. That's the reality. I don't want a Pyrrhic victory. I don't want to be over the bonfire of our great Viking who worked so hard and did all these amazing things. Gosh, we miss you, Tina. Bullshit.
That's why I asked this
Figure it out.
question on
Get
you.
it done.
You
Figure
went
it out,
exactly
get it
where I hoped you
Figure
would
it out.
go. She's a hero to the United
She's a hero.
States, a hero to the
Call
world.
the White
And
House.
we need her here,
Melt.
and not as a martyr, but we need her here as a voice. That's why I asked you the question about Venezuela. And thank you. You summed it up so perfectly, absolutely perfectly. She is critical to the freedom of 72 nations and perhaps the whole world. She's a hero. We don't want her to be a martyr. Stand up.
She's iconic. She went forward, stood in the gap when others didn't even know there was a gap to stand in. She was aggressive, assertive, appropriately so, didn't dither, didn't wonder, didn't wait till after all the things had happened and there was nothing you could do to reverse it. She took action at the appropriate time in the appropriate way for all of us just because it had to be done. And she wasn't waiting for somebody else to do it. Now it has to be done. We can't wait for somebody else to do it. The president shouldn't be waiting for a judge, a governor, attorneys, people in other agencies under his ultimate control. He needs to be seen being proactive, holding a line, picking a lane, and getting it done. And if people around him don't get it, he gets it. Just like she got it, he gets it done. Figure it out. Get them all on the phone. Don't let them hang up. Don't let them off the line. Don't let them go home for, dinner and playtime with their kids until they've figured it out. Get it done. Whatever it takes, figure it out. You have the authority on multiple grounds to take physical custody of Tina and get her into the right kind of care while you figure the rest of it out if you want to. There's 50 ways you can do this Pick a lane, get it done, figure it out.
Well, Juan, if there's anybody out there that can raise the alarm at you, time after time, you come out and you tell the truth. And this one in particular, I can tell is very important to you personally. You're not just talking, you're feeling it, and you know this woman personally. And I just hope people sense the urgency here, and I hope they respond. I hope they send every video you've done on this subject out as broadly as they can, and people stand up and take action. And I agree with you. I am absolutely a fan of Donald Trump, but I think in this instance, he needs to show the world that he is ready to take decisive action. And we
He
need
is
to get
being
this.
ill-served by the people around him. He's getting wrong advice. He's gotten some right advice, but it's been diminished, diluted, ignored. He needs to, enough time has gone by. Now it's time to act. Do what you do. Do that presidential stuff. Do that commander-in-chief stuff. That's what we elected you to do. Get it done. I do not want the enemy to be able to point at us and laugh and jeer. You can't protect your women. There you
So
go.
we are you all done?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other things we could talk about, but what else matters? I know we're going to do the stuff in Venezuela. I know we're going to have the executive order and the presidential announcement of a national emergency concerning elections. I know that there's all sorts of things happening across the globe, but if you're going to be able to do big stuff, but you can't do the small stuff, it's a simple thing. Pick a lane, get it done. Those people that say that, well, we got to wait, we got to whatever. You cannot allow one of the greatest heroines in American history to be sacrificed in the altar of bureaucracy, including from within your own camp. Bullshit.
Well, Juan, thank you. Thank you for your candor. Thank you for the enthusiasm and the energy that you put into this, and the time you've taken to do multiple shows to
And
get
it's not
this
just
out.
because of me, it's her friend. She's everybody's friend here. I happen to get access to some of you guys to say something. It's not about her being my friend. It's about her being all of our friend, her being a fellow American who did her job.
A hero.
She's
I mean,
the hero.
basically, yep.
We're not leaving somebody on the battlefield wounded. We're going to get this done, please, quickly, urgently. Not tomorrow, not the next day, right now, today. This was trending yesterday for many hours within X posts and within Truth Social. It's kind of died down. It shouldn't be dying down. It should be doubling down. The longer this goes without being dealt with, everything else should be moved to the side of the desk. It's a 15-minute phone call. Pick up the phone, figure out who's blocking, who's not agreeing, what the basis is, find somebody else that has a plan that does have a way of doing it that you can agree with. Figure it out. Get it done.
Amen.
All right. Thanks for
Juan,
giving me a minute.
thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.